And welcome back to Sly 2 Band of Thieves. Well, we're in quite the predicament based on the events that occurred during the last part of this playthrough. So, we encountered another plot twist. Well, after our failed attempt at getting the Clockwerk talents during Jean Bisson's Lumberjack games, Jean Bisson and his men discovered our hideout, and now it seems as though the final member of the Claw Gang, Arpeggio here, has possession of all of the Clockwerk parts that we worked so hard to obtain. So,
Dinky little boy.
Yeah. Yeah, really sad. Yeah, kind of unfortunate that his body couldn't grow, thus his wings were unable to be used for flight, or whatever. But yeah, it's like throughout this episode, we need to find a way to get back at those Clockwerk parts that were taken from us before they're being put to the wrong use, if you know what I mean.
Criminal schemes. And now this mastermind is in possession of all the parts. It's only a matter of time before he puts them back together. And when that happens, well, I'm not gonna let that happen.
You say that.
I mean, I beat him once.
I sure as hell can do it again.
After all, I have Thieves Raccoonus.
Hi, episode 8, Anatomy for Disaster. Oh boy. Alright, so it's time to get at some more clue bottles, but first and foremost, we gotta buy our last share of upgrades and moves. So let's have
Hey, Sly!
Sly completely forgot how to stop time. But I didn't forget. I never forgotten. Now I'm the one who knows how to stop time in this game. Yes, that is right. In the first game, Sly knew how to stop time, but now, for the last set of moves, it is now Bentley's turn to control the flow of time. And it's glorious.
But Bentley, how did you figure out how to do that? Oh, well, you see, it's a little something called reading the Thieves Raccoonus.
Unlike you, I actually memorized some of your moves from the Thieves Raccoonus. Then why couldn't you do all your moves like I can? That'd be too much work. Listen, you're the man of the field. Remember, I'm the brains of the group.
You're supposed to be the family of world-class thieves.
I am the family of world-class genius.
Remember, be careful not to fall.
but please, by all means, get burned. God damn it. Oh my goodness.
I honestly hated it in those times of Sonic Heroes when they give you that advice, like, be careful not to fall, because then it would immediately end with you fucking falling.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you know, telling me not to fall makes it easier to do so than not telling me to.
Yeah, but then you get tailed.
Yeah, be careful not to fall. I'm falling!
No shit,
fly,
Sherlock!
you idiot!
It's like, no shit, Sherlock, use your goddamn ass!
Whoa, my head's spinning!
Shut the fuck up, Tails!
Well, that's a load off my back.
Alright, it's like, okay, alright, look. I know a lot of people say, like, Sonic Heroes isn't, like, the best game in the lineup. And while I can see that, I will say Sonic Heroes is still a rather underrated Sonic game, I'm just saying.
Oh, it is underrated.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't want to get into too much detail, because I know for a fact we're going to be getting around to doing Sonic Heroes on the channel sometime in the future, but it's like, yeah, I know the controls aren't, like, all that great or whatever. It's like, I get that. But it's like, I still find it one of the more memorable Sonic games out there. Oh, this is where I try using the Feral Pounce to my advantage. Because this last clue, I tell you what, I could have sworn at one point when I was playing through this, I was able to get this final clue bottle with Sly with the feral pounce, but
Apparently
unfortunately
not.
that
Little friend.
no. So it's like the more efficient way to get the final clue bottle is actually relying on Bentley's hover pack ability. So that way he'll be able to hover his way up to the top and get the clue bottle from there.
Oh, man, Sly, that's a pretty cute-looking special last final move that you got there, you know? You want to know what I got?
You may have reflexes like a cat, but I have technology.
I am a Time Lord.
Yeah, that too, yes. Also, one thing I would like to point out is, like, with this last area where you have to get, like, all 3 treasures that are scattered around the hub world, usually, like, for the most part, there would be, like, 2 items that are timed, and only one of them is just left alone, so you can take all the time that you need to get that final item, you know, back to the hideout or whatever. No, in this final area, all 3 items are timed, so be mindful of that.
I am upset about one thing. We do not get Sly losing his head.
Oh man, yeah, I would, I don't know, I may or may not have to superimpose, the clip during the Super Gaming Brothers playthrough of this game, like, when that glitch actually happened.
That was too fucking funny.
Yeah, that was like the one thing that I think everybody took away from that Let's Play is that somehow Sly can lose his head.
And it
Yeah,
causes
which
the game
is
to
honestly,
crash.
I think it's safe to say, though, I don't think that's a glitch that is, like, common to, like, say, I don't know, like, Sly having, like, a messed up hand, you know, when he obtains, like, the Clockwerk stomach, or like that one Moose Guard during, like, the RC club or whatever, you know, just being frozen in place, you know, even when he's talking or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think Sly losing his head is a really common glitch in the Sly collection. That was one of those once-in-a-lifetime instances, and it was glorious seeing that in action.
Picked up large magnetic fields radiating from inside that blimp. If our
Does that mean? Yes! It was Magneto behind this all along!
Sounds good. I'm on my way.
Don't waste any time here, Sly. Get to the blimp and take some recon photos. To build a plan, we need to know how close they are to reviving Clockwerk.
Relax.
Oh crap! They're about to repair him in 5 seconds!
well, you say that, but it's like, well, how convenient. This Arpeggio's blimp right here, you know, has his wing open just for us, but it's like until after we finish this little recon mission, this huge wing that we can land on goes away. Then again, considering what happens, you know, after this recon mission, I think it's a good reason why the wing is gone. Oh no. Well, oh god, they repaired Clockwerk within 5 seconds.
Let's stick to the format here. How about some recon photos?
Yeah, you were wrong when you said that, Brian. I'm just saying.
Form to create a plan of action.
But it's like, no, it's not as bad as you think. Yeah, he's fully repaired, but he's not functional just yet. So, fortunately, with this recon mission, Sly has a chance.
How did they get to being able to repair him so quickly? Gee, I don't know, maybe someone was too busy looking for clue bottles. You ever think of that?
That is actually a good point now that you bring it up. It's like, maybe you could have saved the clue bottles until after this recon mission. Then, we would have had a better chance of getting at those Clockwerk parts.
Yeah, we might have had 10 seconds.
The shiny things, Bentley.
Yeah, it's always about the shiny things. This is why I never even like playing Pokemon with you. You're always about shinies. Fucking hacker. No, Bentley, that's your job.
Well, you are technically correct.
Listen, I have no problem hacking the government. They deserve it. But hacking your video games, I like to deserve my wins. Ah, nostalgia.
Appears completely inanimate. We still might have a chance.
Yeah, sadly, Clockwerk's model in this game, it's not as intimidating to how he looked like in Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus.
Well, to be fair, he's just suspended by magnets.
Well, yeah. No. It's like, it's not even just that. It's like, even when we see him more like later in the game, it's like, yeah, his model in Sly 2, doesn't stand out as much compared to how Clockwerk was, when we fought him in Sly 1. Honestly, I don't know. It could very well be because, like, I remember bringing this up, I think, earlier during the playthrough. It's like, well, actually, no, never mind. I'm just gonna stop what I'm gonna say right there. I was gonna mention something about the lack of, like, a cell shading or whatever, in this game compared to how it was to the original PlayStation 2 version. But even with the intact cell shading, in the original PlayStation 2 version, his, like, the model they use for Clockwerk, it's like, while it's still effective, it's like, yeah, again, still doesn't stand out nearly as much, compared to how he looked in Sly 1.
I gotta say, the whole, like, with Bentley, it's like, I don't even gotta look at these photos to know that, to see the writing. He's more so just saying, I don't need to look at these photos to know that these were terrible. Neela's not even opening her eyes.
It's like, she has the gall to blink when I'm taking a photo of her? Damn it.
Hey, she's not even center frame.
I can't accept this photo, Sly. It's like, again with this? I thought we were over our Pokemon Snap days.
Listen, I'm sure we'll get over it in due time.
Even after you got your power to stop time, you're still getting on my case about it.
Oh, it's not even just so much that. I'm not just bragging that I now have it.
At this point, now I'm just rubbing it in your face. Alright, one thing I want to point out as a little fun fact. I mean, it's like, if you wanted, while you're pickpocketing the keys off of these guards or whatever, it's like, technically you can just, it's like, you could do what I do, and just kill off the guards, like, as what I usually do, after I pickpocket the keys, so that, they won't be a nuisance to you anymore. But if you really wanted to, after you pickpocket the keys off of the guards, you could just leave them alone, and it's like, by the time we reverse the polarity of these magnetic inducers, and the Clockwerk frame, like, collapses onto the ground, you can't just let the fall of the Clockwerk frame, just kill off all 4 of the guards as well.
Nice.
If you really wanted to. But I mean, it's like, they've already served their purpose of letting me have their 4 keys or whatever, so it's just like, yeah, I figured, you know what, there's really no point in letting them live or whatever.
Well, I mean, they're gonna go down anyway. It's just a matter of, do you want to throw them in the void or have them be crushed by a freaking metal bird?
Yes.
I suppose, but even then, it's like, it'll be one less thing I have to worry about, as I'm going from one inducer to the next and all that jazz. Now, the only downside with, like, reversing the polarity of the magnetic inducers is just considering how slow that they're moving, you do have to wait for quite some time for the magnetic inducers to get at the right spot so that you can land on them and hit the switch. That's the only downside to it.
I wonder what Arpeggio and Neela are thinking about when all this is happening. It's like, Arpeggio, you realize Sly is messing with the player? Shh, not now. I need to tell you another story. No, Constable Neela! Why didn't you tell me this was happening?
I did.
By Jove! It seems to have locked the Clockwerk parts into place!
Well, that plan with the magnetic inducers was almost a success. It got the Clockwerk frame down, the problem, it didn't dismantle it.
Sly Cooper! Of course.
Yes, expose yourself out in the open, like a
So we
good
dealt with
thief.
our fair share of plot twists throughout this game ever since like episode 3 with the second half of not Jean Bison, of Rajan. But this is where the biggest plot twist comes into play, and I will say this whole plot twist right here. This is why I feel like the Claw Gang was more planned out and more memorable compared to the Fiendish 5 in Sly 1.
Immortality! Immortality is what I seek. The other Claw Gang members were much too short-sighted. They were satisfied using the Clockwerk parts to drive their various trivial schemes, but not me.
The truth is, Clockwerk was actually the new Metal Gear!
The keys to life.
Might as well be.
So, what? You had Neela put me on the scent back in Cairo, and then waited while I stole the parts from the other Claw Gang members, all the while not arousing any suspicion that you were behind it all?
You make it sound easy, Cooper. I had to carry your pathetic gang through that first set of heists. I was overjoyed.
Pathetic? Excuse me, miss.
Jail. I could finally go after the parts myself.
We could have done all that without your help.
But acquiring all the parts was only half the equation. Think, Cooper. What kept Clockwerk alive for thousands of years?
He was fueled by his hatred for my family.
Splendid! That's right! Hatred. Putting his gears and wires together was child's play, compared with accumulating that much hatred.
You can't make...
It's like, okay there, Uchiha Itachi.
My poor naive boy. My meticulous mind has found a way. As your hippopotamus friend will attest, spice consumption makes you both angry and susceptible to hypnosis. The Contessa, hypnotist extraordinaire, devised a way to command people through the use of flashing lights. I've created this blimp to be a massive transmitter of those precise light frequencies. The only problem I faced was finding a suitable source of light waves.
The Northern Lights! You've been collecting Northern Light energy so you could hypnotize everyone beneath the blimp.
Ah, hypnotize those who'd eaten food covered in illegal spice. Thank goodness for Dimitri. Through his nightclub, he got the whole city to consume the spice.
You're going to Paris to unleash a hypnotic light show of hate. That's outlandishly cruel.
So yeah, as it turns out, it's like, yeah, with how things are handled with the Phoenix 5 and Sly 1, it's like, yeah, you know, the Fiendish 5, you know, they took all the pages of the Thieves Raccoonus and then just left it at that, you know, and they just go back to doing their usual thing with the pages or whatever. But with the Claw Gang, as Arpeggio was pretty much explaining right here, and oh, by the way, no, it's not Arpeggio that's taking control of the Clockwerk frame. No, this is Clockwerk 2.0.
You exit the Clockwerk frame or...
Behold, Herakla is born!
There we go. There it is.
Yeah.
The Clockwerk frame and Neela
Such a
combined
dumb
forms
name.
Clockla. Yeah, that is
You call her
quite the
gay
name.
pathetic? Try your naming skills.
Yeah, that is quite the name right there. I will still prefer the name Clockwerk as the more intimidating name compared to Clockla.
Yeah. But to your point, Ryan, like with what you were saying earlier about like the Fiendish 5 and the Claw Gang, it's like I completely agree. Like the Fiendish 5, I mean, literally, these are just 5 people that just did their own thing, and the only thing that really tied them together was the pages of the Thieves Raccoonus. They really didn't feel like a gang. The Claw Gang feels like a gang because even though yes, they all had their own motives and shit, ultimately everything that they were doing, it still fell under one cohesive plan.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally everything from beginning to end was all connected in one way, and it worked so well. We had like the illegal spices from Rajan, which, as we established, like during like Yeah, like during episode 3, where it's like when the elephant was eating his food like covered in spice, he got pissed off. Or even when during episode 4, when Murray was exposed to the spices, when Contessa kept feeding him all the food, Murray was getting all angry because of too much consumption of the illegal spice. But then and now it's like, oh, hold up, that same exact spice was being distributed, from thanks to Jean Bisson's Iron Horse trains. How else do you think Dimitri was able to get his hands on those spices? Because thanks to the trains, Dimitri was able to serve all this food at his nightclub in Paris, no doubt, that are covered in spice. And then on top of that, it does a really good job in correlating like all the stuff that we've established, in the first game. Why else do you think? Yeah, Clockwerk was living for so long because he was living on nothing but hatred, and anger causes hatred, which is exactly what the spice was used for, to make people angry, like uncontrollably angry, which in turn also causes a lot of hatred. And because of what we established from the Contessa, with using the Clockwerk eyes and such as a ways to hypnotize people, especially those who are having like very horrible effects because of too much consumption with the spice. It works so well. So it's like, yeah, this is why, yeah, I mean, I know people like BJ, they're saying like he would prefer the Fiendish 5 over the Claw Gang, but it's like, I'm sorry, it's like, don't get me wrong, I love my Fiendish 5, from the first game, but considering how they handled everything so well, with like having everything with the Claw Gang being connected to just this one motive, plot, or whatever, this is why I feel the Claw Gang stands out so much more compared to the Fiendish 5. So yeah, the Claw Gang is officially out of the picture.
Yeah, Arpeggio's fucking dead.
So now, all that's left right now is Clockla. So join us next time as we figure out how to take down Clockla. We will see you guys then.